Hi, I'm Zuri. At 62 years old, I thought I'd figured life out pretty well. I owned my three-bedroom house in Atlanta outright, had a decent retirement fund, and spent my days volunteering at the community center and tending to my garden. My son Marcus had always been the light of my life, until he married Vanessa 3 years ago. Mom, you're going to love having us around, Marcus had said when he first brought up the idea of moving in. Vanessa and I are saving for our own place, and you've got all this extra space. Of course, baby, I'd replied, hugging him tight. This is your home too, always will be. Vanessa had smiled sweetly that day, her perfectly manicured nails resting on Marcus's shoulder. We're so grateful, Zuri, really. We'll help around the house, contribute to groceries, whatever you need. Don't be silly, I'd told her. You're family now. No, seriously, Vanessa continued, her voice dripping with false sincerity. We don't want to be a burden, right, Marcus? Absolutely. We're here to help, Mom. The first few months were fine. Marcus helped with yard work on weekends, and Vanessa occasionally cooked dinner. But slowly, things changed. Marcus, honey, can you grab that box from the attic for me? I'd asked one Saturday morning. Mom, I'm busy. Ask Vanessa to help you. Busy doing what? You're on your phone. I'm working, Mom. Some of us have careers that don't stop on weekends. I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just need 5 minutes. And I just told you I'm busy. Why is that so hard to understand? I'd bitten my tongue and climbed the ladder myself. Then came the day everything shifted. I was watering my roses when Paula, my best friend from down the street, came over with her signature lemon pound cake. Girl, I need to talk to you, Paula said, setting the cake on my kitchen counter. I saw Vanessa at the nail salon yesterday. Oh yeah? How'd she look? Fabulous, as always. But Zuri, she was telling her friends some things. About you. What kind of things? Paula hesitated, her dark eyes filled with concern. She was laughing about how you're letting them live here rent-free. Said you're too soft and that she's working on Marcus to start charging you rent to stay in your own house. She said what? Honey, I heard it with my own ears. She said, that old lady doesn't even realize we're taking over. Give it 6 months and she'll be the one paying us to live there. Paula, this is my house. I bought it 30 years ago. I know, sweetie. But maybe you should check your paperwork. Make sure everything's in order. Vanessa strikes me as the type who plays dirty. You really think she'd try something? Zuri, I know she will. I've seen women like her before. They smile in your face while plotting behind your back. That evening, Marcus worked late. I was in the kitchen making dinner when Vanessa strutted in, designer purse on her arm. Zuri, we need to talk about finances, she announced, not even bothering with a greeting. Finances? Yes. Marcus and I have been covering groceries, utilities, and maintenance around here for months now. It's only fair you start contributing. My wooden spoon clattered against the pot. Contributing to what? This is my house, Vanessa. A house that Marcus will inherit someday. We're basically investing in our future here, and you're living off our generosity. Generosity? I never asked for a dime. Well, things change. Starting next month, we'll need $800 from you. Consider it rent. Rent? In my own home? Pay the rent or get out, she snapped, her voice sharp and cold. Your choice, Zuri. But we're not running a charity here. Vanessa, I think you're confused about whose house this is. I'm not confused about anything. $800, first of the month, or you can pack your bags. She walked away, leaving me standing there, shaking with anger and disbelief. The next morning, I called Paula before sunrise. She actually said that? Paula gasped. Girl, no, absolutely not. I couldn't sleep all night. I keep thinking maybe I misunderstood. Zuri, stop making excuses for that woman. She showed you exactly who she is. Now you need to protect yourself. But Marcus, has he stood up for you once since they moved in? The silence answered her question. That's what I thought. Listen, my cousin Denise is a real estate attorney. Let me call her. You need legal advice, not from someone who's emotionally invested. 2 hours later, I was sitting in Denise's office, a sleek downtown space with floor-to-ceiling windows. Miss Zuri, let me make sure I understand, Denise said, adjusting her glasses. Your name is the only one on the deed, correct? Yes. I bought this house in 1995. And they've been living there how long? About 8 months now. Have they paid you any rent? Signed any lease agreement? No, nothing. They're family. Denise leaned back in her chair. Here's the situation. It's your house. You can sell it whenever you want. But if they refuse to leave, you'd have to go through a formal eviction process, which in Georgia can take months. What if I just sold it without telling them? Legally, you can sell your property anytime, but you'd need to give proper notice to any occupants, typically 30 days. And if they caused problems? Document everything. Every conversation, every threat, every demand. If they become hostile or violent, that changes things significantly. Violent? You think it could get that bad? I've seen people do worse over real estate, Miss Zuri. Protect yourself. Keep records. Maybe even set up cameras if things escalate. I left her office with a plan forming in my mind. That evening, Marcus came home early. I cornered him in the living room. Son, we need to talk about Vanessa. Mom, not now. I'm tired. She demanded I pay her rent in my own house. Marcus sighed, not even looking up from his phone. She mentioned something about redistributing household expenses. It's not unreasonable. Not unreasonable? Marcus, I own this house. And I'm your only child. This will all be mine eventually anyway. Vanessa's just trying to establish some structure. Structure? She told me to pay rent or get out. She probably didn't mean it like that. You know how you can be, Mom. Overly sensitive. Those words cut deeper than Vanessa's threats. How I can be. I repeated slowly. Look, just work it out with her. I'm sure you two can reach a compromise. A compromise? Marcus, listen to yourself. This is my home. And it's our home too now. We all live here. Vanessa has a point about shared expenses. He walked away, leaving me standing there, finally seeing the truth. My son had chosen his wife over his mother, and he wasn't coming back to my side. The next day, I met with Richard Chen, the real estate agent Paula had recommended. Mrs. Zuri, this is a beautiful property, Richard said, walking through my home with his tablet. Great bones, excellent location, well maintained. In this market, we could list it tomorrow and have offers by the weekend. How fast could a sale close? Cash buyer, 30 days, maybe less. Why the rush? Let's just say I need a fresh start. I understand. And the current occupants? They'll be properly notified, through legal channels. Richard nodded knowingly. I've handled situations like this before. We'll do everything by the book. That's exactly what I need, everything documented properly. Trust me, Mrs. Zuri. I'll make sure this goes smoothly. 3 weeks later, I had a cash offer for $50,000 over asking price. The closing was scheduled for exactly 30 days from that date. I'd found a beautiful 2-bedroom condo across town and secured it with my down payment. Everything was falling into place. I waited until Marcus left for work before approaching Vanessa. She was in my kitchen, drinking coffee from my expensive espresso machine. Vanessa, we need to talk. About the rent? Finally ready to be reasonable? No. About you moving out? She laughed, actually laughed. Moving out? Zuri, you're hilarious. We're not going anywhere. Actually, you are. I've sold the house. The coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. You what? Sold. The house. It closes in 30 days. You and Marcus need to find somewhere else to live. You can't do that. I absolutely can. It's my house. My name on the deed. I can sell it whenever I want. Vanessa's face transformed from shock to pure rage. Marcus! Marcus! She screamed, even though he wasn't home. He's at work, Vanessa. You spiteful old woman. You think you can just kick us out? I'm not kicking you out. I'm selling my property and informing you that you need to relocate. There's a difference. We'll sue you. For what? Living rent-free in my house for 8 months? Please, call a lawyer. I'd love to hear what they say. Mrs. Patterson from next door appeared at my back door. Zuri? I heard yelling. Everything okay? Everything's fine, Patricia. Just having a discussion with my daughter-in-law. Vanessa whirled on Patricia. This doesn't concern you. I'm just checking on my neighbor, Patricia said firmly. I've known Zuri for 15 years. I've never heard her raise her voice once. Well, congratulations. Want a medal? Vanessa, lower your voice, I said calmly. You're causing a scene. A scene? A scene? You just destroyed our lives. I gave you free housing for 8 months. You responded by demanding rent from me in my own home. This is called consequences. Marcus will never forgive you for this. Then I guess I'll learn to live with that. Just like I've learned to live with a lot of things lately. Vanessa grabbed her purse, her hands shaking. You're going to regret this, old lady. I promise you that. Is that a threat? Take it however you want. She stormed toward the door, then suddenly grabbed my favorite ceramic vase from the entry table and hurled it at the wall, shattering it into pieces. Feel better? I asked quietly. I'll make sure Marcus never speaks to you again. You'll die alone, forgotten, with no one who cares about you. Patricia stepped forward. I think you should leave now, before this gets worse. Oh, it's going to get worse! Vanessa screamed. She shoved past me, her shoulder hitting mine hard enough to make me stumble. Patricia caught my arm. Are you hurt? Patricia asked. I'm fine, just shocked. I'm calling the police, Patricia said, pulling out her phone. Wait, I stopped her. Let me call my attorney first. She said to document everything. Vanessa slammed the front door so hard a picture frame fell off the wall. Marcus called 20 minutes later, his voice tight with anger. Mom, what did you do? I sold my house, Marcus. Without telling me? Without discussing it with us? I'm an adult. I don't need permission to sell my own property. This is unbelievable. Vanessa's hysterical. She's talking about getting lawyers involved. Let her. Denise Hayes is my attorney. She'll be happy to speak with anyone Vanessa hires. You already have a lawyer? How long have you been planning this? Since your wife told me to pay rent or get out. In my own home, Marcus. The home I raised you in. Silence stretched between us. You could have talked to me, he finally said, his voice quieter. I tried. You told me I was being overly sensitive. You chose her side without even listening to mine. She's my wife, Mom. And I'm your mother. I thought that meant something. More silence. Where will we go? That's not my problem to solve, son. You're both adults with good jobs. You'll figure it out. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you let her treat me this way in my own home. But here we are. He hung up. 2 weeks later, Denise called with an update. The police report is filed, she said. Vanessa destroying your property and shoving you gives you additional grounds if they try to delay leaving. How are you holding up? Better than I expected. Paula's been amazing. Good. And the closing is still on schedule. Your buyers are excited. What if Marcus tries to stop the sale somehow? He can't. He has no legal claim to the property. But Zuri, be prepared for him to try emotional manipulation as the closing gets closer. I know. I'm ready for it. On moving day, Marcus and Vanessa were gone before I arrived with the movers. They'd left the place a mess. Trash everywhere, walls scuffed, cabinet doors hanging open. But I didn't care. It wasn't my problem anymore. At closing, I signed the papers with a steady hand. The check was deposited, and I drove to my new condo feeling lighter than I had in months. Paula helped me unpack, music playing from my new speakers. How does it feel? She asked, hanging curtains in my bedroom. Like I can finally breathe again. Like I took my life back. That's because you did, honey. Not everyone has the courage to do what you did. I should have done it sooner. You did it when you were ready. That's what matters. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Can we talk? I showed Paula. What are you going to say? She asked. That I'm open to talking when he's ready to really listen. Not before. And Vanessa? I hope I never see her again. Ever. Paula laughed. Amen to that. You know what's funny? I thought I'd feel guilty. But I don't. Not even a little bit. Why would you feel guilty for protecting yourself? Exactly. I gave them a home, love, and support. They gave me demands and disrespect. I just showed them that actions have consequences. You taught Marcus a valuable lesson too. Maybe not today, but eventually he'll understand what he lost. Maybe. And if not, That's his choice to make. But if he doesn't, I'm still going to be okay. I've got my condo, my friends, and my self-respect. That's more than enough. Paula raised her glass of sweet tea. To new beginnings? To taking our power back, I countered. We clinked glasses, and I looked around my new space. Smaller than the house, but entirely mine. No unwanted guests, no demands, no walking on eggshells in my own home. Some people might call what I did petty revenge. I call it self-preservation, and I do it again in a heartbeat. What would you do if someone demanded rent in your own home? Have you ever had to cut toxic people out of your life, even if they were family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories about standing up for yourself.